Welcome to Crescent City with your hosts Natalie Jean and Jackie Zabrowski.
Jackie,
How attracted are you?
I have actually some news for you.
What?
I've got a golden ticket.
Don't you dare. Okay, don't you dare.
I've got a golden chance
Don't you give
to
me this.
my day.
Everybody, I need everybody to know, Natalie's having a field day over here with me and my wig. Okay, maybe I was trying to dress up as a sexy character. Okay, maybe I went and I got a wig because I was looking for something that was like curly, like a little bit more like foppish Prince. And it's really given bucket and not in the way that I want to be filled.
I think it's just the combo of the hair with the turtleneck.
It's a rough, but this
That's
is what he's wearing.
But I'm saying it's great. I knew who you were immediately, which, by the way, we don't get to that character
and we don't
today.
even get into the character
So,
in this episode.
as far as we all know, you are just cosplaying as Charlie Bucket.
So maybe everyone feel a little fucking bad for me.
No,
because
you
my
look cute.
grandparents are strapped to a bed.
No, Charlie Bucket's life is bullshit.
My family is currently being abused in front of me and I'm doing nothing about it except, whoa, I want chocolate, mother. Oh.
I can't get you chocolate. I have to stir these clothes in a bowl.
Yep, big clothing soup. You got to get that clothing soup, mommy. And maybe you would be doing a better job of feeding me if you would stop singing into the ether and get a job.
I mean, if I was his mom, I would be also dissociating and depressed as being like, this is my life. This is it.
I feel
my
like
husband screws on toothpaste caps for
is
his
the thing.
job, and they pay him 5 cents a week.
this is the thing. And
What
I feel like
happened to me?
has a lot changed since Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? No.
No.
And I would be just as upset as she is, especially if my kid looked like this. And I'd be like, you know what? You got to do something about maybe, Charlie, the family would be more successful if you didn't look like such a fucking little idiot.
Well, I will say, though, Charlie is the only one who steps up and saves the entire family as a 6th grader?
I mean, thank God, at least he went after that ticket, but he should have been going after a job. If you're going to work that hard.
He doesn't have good role models with his parents.
Don't worry about me, mother. I'm going to drink a secret drink and I'm going to burp into the fans with my grandfather.
Almost got chopped up.
Oh, sometimes I got to burp out of the fans.
Jackie, it really is just very good.
I'm sorry, are you so sexually attracted to me that you
Ew.
can't even sit
I
next
don't
to
think
me any
legally I
longer?
can say that I'm sexually
Why?
attracted to Charlie
With
Bucket.
this wig on? What is, this is supposed to be a grown man's haircut.
Well,
This
men's wigs are they're difficult.
Can we please talk about revolutionizing
Men's wigs.
the world of men's wigs, because a lot of them are bad. And I think, hot takes, I think a lot of them are just women's wigs.
Oh yeah.
That they either cut or with this, I don't know, did they just brush out the curls of like a Lucy wig that went bad?
I think it might have just been made by a machine.
Oh,
I actually
not
don't know how wigs are
hands.
made.
Anybody let us know? That would be great. I know that I need to find somebody that makes a better wig
Charlie
than
and the Wig
this
Factory.
if I'm going to continue being this big character in the book.
I wanted to see if he was wearing a white turtleneck, but it's red.
It's
there's
red,
a red
yeah.
one and there's a blue one.
Man, he loves his turtlenecks. Was somebody sucking on your neck, little kid?
I think it's
Or you just
because
cold?
He's very underweight.
Oh, gotcha. And so he's cold all the time.
His parents
He's
don't
withering.
feed him, and he has to go find a man in a factory. You never want your kid to be hanging out with a man in a factory.
Yes, just some dude that's inviting kids to his home. Nah. Especially once you find out that he lives there. I guess they all assume he lives there because they all wait for him to come out. Man, imagine just a whole gaggle of people, and I'm not talking about the paps like we have to deal with, obviously.
Oh,
but imagine
God,
them
I wish
all.
they would back off of me.
I know, always. You're just like, ugh, you're the Hilaria of this family, Natalie. I'm
No,
always saying
and
that.
every single way.
Every single way, including how hard you work.
Thank you. I think that's an insult, but
I
I
hate the wig, but I think that it's given me something.
I think you look adorable.
I look like a woman in crisis. Like, I look like I wanted to be on Big Little Lies, and they said, "Oh, girl, I know we have people that look like you, but not on this show." And so I just cried on the outside of Big Little Lies. "Oh, my husband is so cold. He hasn't touched my breast in nigh on a fortnight."
Yeah, you do have a little bit of a 90s thriller mom.
Yes.
Who's being like stalked and nobody believes her.
You're right. I'm falling in love with this. You're so right. This is Sleeping with the Enemy. This is like, oh yeah, you're right. And I am upset and I'm not going to take it anymore.
They're trying to put her in a mental institution and she's like, this is happening to me.
But again, please put me in a mental institution. Like, if we could get like a good one, like I'm talking about like a nice one. Like I'm talking like how Martha Stewart went to prison. I want that kind of mental institution.
I could honestly use it. It would be nice to have the break.
Keep begging for a lobotomy. No one will give them. They don't give them willingly. And I feel like, let's talk about that consent issue.
But were we talking about that on Spun? Because I just talked about this.
I've been
maybe
talking
with
about
Amber.
lobotomies a lot.
Well, we've been
too.
talking about just like a mini, like, is there a way you can do a half lobotomy? Like just like a mini one.
Like, just take some of it away.
Like how you can do like half a facelift.
I think that's why everybody liked Quaaludes back in the day.
Why?
I think that was
That's
like a temporary
like
lobotomy.
a mini lobotomy.
Give me the ludes, y'all.
What is the Quaalude?
You remember Quaaludes?
I mean, but like, what is it?
I don't know. I guess it's like a downer of some sort, but I know you can't get them anymore. But there's something about the phrase, "Oh, I took a bunch of ludes," that always made me curious about it.
Oh, for sure. It's also, I feel like I just associate it with key parties.
Yeah, yes.
Like
and
a
I feel
bunch
like
of
disco. Like, I feel like I'm in a sequin jumpsuit and I don't know who I'm going home with. Especially in this turtleneck. Anything can happen in this turtleneck.
You are being a little suggestive with that turtleneck.
You're right. I shouldn't be showing this much upper neck.
There's a little bit between
Should I?
your ear.
I should big at it.
Yes, please. There you go.
You want to love me? Will you love me? Actually, you know what I'm giving? This is giving Fester. Now I'm just talking about all of the characters I'm not. That's what this is.
When Debbie has like transformed.
Debbie, this is. Now you literally have to go to the YouTube. Go over LPN Romantasy.
We should say.
You should be subbing over on our YouTube where all of our episodes are dropping. All of our episodes from Crescent City Book 1 are currently dropping. But you must go watch us. We dress up for you. We want you to see us dressed up.
We have branched off from the last podcast network YouTube channel because we were fighting against the current of true crime algorithms, and so now
we won't get into the nitty gritty, annoying, boring. All you need to know is LPN Romantasy. Not you. I meant like the rest of it. No, you gave a good TLDR. That's what I was looking for. Great summary. But YouTube and search at LPN Romantasy and give us a follow.
Please.
And get all your info over there.
It's a great way to help us for free. Also give us a rating on
the
apps if you have.
If you can. That would be great.
It does actually help us. I know you hear that all the time with every show you listen to, but it
does.
It's true.
It is, and it does, and it is. And we appreciate you. And especially if I'm looking this, I don't want to say good. If I'm looking this, come hang out.
Look like a boy who came from poverty and got his family out of poverty.
Do I? Or do I look like the one that never did?
No.
I feel like this is Charlie Bucket. Charlie Fuck It is what he is.
No,
because he gave up.
I don't think so. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
I guess he did a lot.
Well, we're going into the chasm, part 1 of House of Sky and Breath. We had just last week covered the prologue, which was an entire new assortment of characters.
Damn right.
As well as a couple that we have kind of just heard of to this point. So we can tell there's going to be a lot of twists and turns in this book.
And a lot of people coming and going.
And a lot of kisses and churns.
You know what's crazy?
Hip.
Yes, turns of hip. And thrusts of hip.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't think that I would like the second book more than the first book, but I did.
I do like the second book a lot.
Yeah.
There is more kissing in it also.
And that, I mean, y'all know that's what I'm here for. Not as much of the holding it back in this one, which is good because we had how many hundreds of pages?
Oh, well, there's still
Of
some
being
holding it
cockblocked?
back. Don't you worry. We got some pages. We got some pages.
Yeah, because Bryce makes some decisions. So who's that on, bitch?
So we are now in the first part, and we are finally out. Sorry. Wig is in my eye.
Wig caught your eye. The wig caught your eye. But I'm not talking like that yet because you don't know what this character is.
Nope.
And I guess I probably
You won't.
should never do any accent.
Probably not.
But I will.
Oh, he's kind of like a sailor.
It's a little pirate.
A little sailorish.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's from an island. He's got to get there somehow.
I think that's a fictional accent, so I think you can do it.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We're back with Bryce, baby. We are finally back with the characters we have grown to learn and love and know from the first book. And Bryce.
But don't worry, all those other characters, they ain't going nowhere.
Most of them ain't, that's for sure.
Oy, oy, oy.
She is at the ballet in the first chapter, and not ballet class. She is going to see the ballet.
Mm.
Specifically, she's at the ballet with her mother and her stepfather, Randall, or the father who stepped up. I
Oh,
should say.
God, I love him. Oh, I love him.
To see Juniper in her debut featured role.
Good for you, bitch. Working so
Yeah.
hard.
I mean, that's a big old yay because when we last left Bryce and Hunt, things were not going great for the world.
Yeah, a little dicey.
And, you know, through the end of the book, saw Bryce, you know, we did see her thinking optimistically towards the end, but for the future. But there were many loose ends in that book that would prevent that from occurring.
Because that's the thing. The bad people are still in charge.
Oh, yeah.
They still run everything.
There is a bunch of stuff that still could go poorly. But as a quick refresher, Bryce had killed Micah the Archangel. Hunt killed Sandriel the Archangel, which that in itself should have been their death warrants. But the Asteri have kept them alive for their own reasons that we don't know.
I feel like that'll be fine and will never flesh out.
Yeah. I don't think it was good planning on their end. I will say that, but we can't know the Asteri's thoughts. They are all knowing and all powerful, and I am just a mere mortal.
Yes.
So why are you looking at spiders?
I was looking up arachnophobia. I'm trying to think specifically of what 90s wife I can't figure out who it is. There is one that is like a slight woman with a very similar dumb haircut, and I feel like it's all of her going like, stay back. Like I feel like me doing that is I'm having I'm having deja vu, and I can't shake it.
I don't. So it's her, but it's not the mom from The Good Son.
From The Good, but esque like that. Like that's why I looked up arachnophobia, because I was like, is it that? Like what? I am gonna let this go. I will at some point let this go. But we will.
A little bit Pet Sematary. Mom.
Oh, a little bit Pet Sematary, a little bit Pet Cemetery. Yes. Okay. And anybody else, underneath the,
Throw
the
us your
social media,
suggestions.
let me know. What am I given?
Who is she serving? So we're with a very different kind of mother on this chapter 1. And
Randall, the motherfucker.
he is a motherfucker, actually.
Get it. I want to have sex with them both. Man,
Oh, yeah.
oh, baby. Of all
I mean,
of
I
them.
can't say that I'm dressed as Bryce. Ugh.
Ew. I can say it.
You can say it.
You don't even know who I am.
You're a child.
Yep. But I've got a
so-
golden ticket.
You have got a golden ticket. So the Asteri should have maybe killed them off, but they didn't. And in fact, have rewarded them with Hunt's release from servitude, as long as the two of them keep a low profile and just live quiet lives.
And man, are they really good at doing that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, even though Bryce, I agree. I imagine both of them would want quiet lives.
Would love to be left alone.
But some people don't get that chance.
No.
Some people don't have that choice.
And think about that.
She's technically a princess.
Yeah.
And Hunt is the Umber Mortis.
She struggles.
But they can try.
Yep.
They're in the lobby of the theater, and man, do I love an ornate, traditional, classical kind of ballet orchestra theater.
Yes.
Just like tons of sculptural accents and chandeliers.
All the moldings
Yes.
and all that. Yes.
Theirs on Lunathion sounds really nice, I'll tell you. There are large marble statues throughout the hall depicting different characters from Midgard's mythology that Bryce's parents are admiring as we open the book. Bryce feels mostly anticipatory excitement for seeing June in her performance, but is also uncomfortably aware of the number of people gawking at her as they meander through the building pre-show. Because, of course, as you recall, she saved the city and she healed a bunch of people who were dying with the first light.
Yeah, but she's like, just like everybody else. Guys, don't look at me.
Yeah, she is.
Don't.
She actually does understand to an extent. She's not angry or anything. She knows that she did something that was like pretty extraordinary a few months ago. And good on her, because you need to claim your power.
Mm-hmm. Know your worth.
And she saved a lot of people. But her thoughts also immediately always go to those who didn't make it, because if they had died before she did her job, they don't come back.
It's just like, do we do this with everything? It's like, I know it can't be just a gendered problem. And I feel like just like we talk about this all the time. You can get thousands of positive comments and one negative one. And what do you stay up at night thinking about? And it's just, why do our brains do this to ourselves? It's like, bitch, you saved everybody. Yes, a lot of people died. But think of how many more people would have died if you hadn't done it.
And our comments, we're basically like Bryce.
We're just like saving the world.
Yeah. Through joy.
I am publicly wearing this wig. If this isn't saving lives, I don't know what is.
Who is, truly. Yeah, so for sure. I don't think that's gendered either. At least I know some gentlemen in our lives who
struggle with it as well.
Struggle with that. But yes, I think a lot for women, I think maybe it's a little more common to just never accept your value and worth, the things you've done, and only think about the things you should have done or like the people you should have cared for.
I'm fine.
Well, you're a guy today.
Yeah, the wig says it all.
So,
I'm sorry, were you so taken aback with how beautiful I look?
Little bit fisherman.
Yeah, just a good fisherman.
Yeah,
always have.
Bit. That's a little bit there.
Yeah, he was bald though, I think.
No, but I think you're like the
young one.
Like the porn version of it.
Oh, okay.
You know, all those fish stick fanatics.
I mean, if you are out there writing Gorton's Fisherman fan or /fic, send it my way. I'd love to read it. Did I ever tell you about the smut I was reading about Clippy? Remember the paperclip?
I remember it. I don't know about the sex literature.
He fucks.
With what?
With what? Whatever he can.
Does he use his clip?
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, he has to unbend just a
ew,
little bit.
No, it seems like it'd be
He has
sharp.
to do it. He has to do it for the get.
No, that's
You don't understand what he gets at the end. Unbent.
I don't think that would feel good.
Seemed like he was having a fucking blast.
What about his partners?
Oh, I mean, well, I don't know if they're having a good time, but
Ew.
you know, they are there.
I hate this.
Honestly, technically, he seduces the person using him through the document, and he last action heroes himself into her pussy. Which is kind of what we're all hoping for.
I'm just going to move forward.
Okay.
She's not angry. Her thoughts go to those who didn't make it because she couldn't heal all those who were wounded. If they were dead, they were dead.
I know.
She and Hunt watched all of their boats crossing into the bone zone from the sky after they had finally started to bury them.
Sorry, it's so hard that the bone zone is not a fuck center. It's just, I can't, like, the bone zone sounds like just like,
Well, yeah, it was not. It was meant to be a jape.
oh, were you making japeries about fuck zones and death?
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Good. She's shaken from her thoughts by her mother embarrassing her, shouting at all of the gawkers that she charges to have pictures taken of Bryce.
Ugh, Ember.
Ember.
Oh my God, I'd do anything for you, bitch.
You're a little pip.
Good Lord.
Ember is in, there's some fashion here. She's in a silky gray gown and pashmina.
Yes,
Randall
slay
in a
queen,
navy suit.
yes. Can you imagine Randall just like,
Oh yeah, he's foxy for sure.
You know the two, and you know they still get it.
Of course. Come on now. Bryce and Randall both tried to shush Ember from embarrassing the family, but Ember gives Randall the stink eye. He masterfully turns the conversation to another statue for them to look at, saying, oh, look, this one looks like Hunt, trying to just distract his wife from embarrassing everybody.
Which is cute.
It is cute. She turns and Bryce can see the resemblance of Hunt in this statue. It's an ancient hunk of meat forging a sword.
Oh. Into it, yeah. Give me a big ol' hunker.
I don't
A
know.
hunker. A chunker. A bite.
What is this character doing?
It's the hair. I really feel like I feel like it's like the last episode. There's something about these wigs. There's something about these wigs.
But what is this character?
I don't know. I'm a menace. I'm definitely like a sex pest in some capacity.
Okay, yes, I can see.
But like as a 90s mother character in a horror movie sex pest.
That's a lot.
I contain multitudes.
Maybe are you being piloted by Clippy?
Oh my God, he's inside of me this whole time. It's like when you put on the vibrators when someone else is like using the vibrator from far away, but you're in public.
I meant more piloting you like in Men in Black.
Oh, like living inside of my brain.
Yeah.
And well, I didn't think about that. And
Little
now
column
I'm
A,
worried.
little column B.
You're right. You are very right. Oh God, how did he get his whole body inside of me?
That's not a question I can answer.
I feel like he's gonna rip through my intestines at some point.
Well, you're the one who said he was fucking people with that end, and that sounded like it hurts.
I know. I did this to us. Oh, its label read simply, Unknown Sculptor, Palmyra, circa 125 VE. Bryce lifted her mobile and snapped a photo. Pulling up her messaging thread with Hunt Athlar is better at sunball than I am. Oh my God, you know they're like getting into it because they keep changing the name of their chat.
Well, that is that playful joke from the first book whenever Bryce started to try to crack the shell of Hunt and pretend like she wasn't just taking sexy photos of herself for him to look at later and being like, I'm just being stupid.
But, my breasts are out. I feel like, though, at the same time, wouldn't you feel differently about your phone if your phone's pictures were used as a slideshow while you're getting tortured? I feel like I'd probably have a different reaction with the phone from then on out.
Yeah,
You know what
I mean, for sure. I think the other side of that is that they've seen so much death that you
and he's been tortured for so many years.
He will take
that,
he will take tit pics under any circumstance.
Yeah. I just,
yeah.
At this point is really where I start to worry. Are we processing this, guys? 'Cause
No.
I feel like we're not.
Absolutely not. Let's just keep pushing it back.
Yeah.
I think we should just keep pushing it back underneath the rug. Nothing will ever happen.
Okay. Oh, okay. All
Yep.
right.
Yep. Yeah, so they had started this this trend with changing each other's like contacts of their own name in the contacts. I'm not a huge fan of going into each other's phones. I don't hide anything. I don't think my husband's hiding anything, but I think
don't
it's
touch his phone.
weird to look through your partner's personal. That's your private stuff. If you trust somebody, you don't need to be doing that. And they're not obviously looking at each other's stuff, but I'm not going into Henry's phone.
No, I don't even want to do it as a jape. Like the
Yeah.
most that I would do that is like when I go over to your house and I change Henry's names like on the Apple TV to all of the
Well,
sign-in
sure.
apps. That's fun.
You do that,
But
as does Julia.
we
They're
have
all
to.
changed to like butt boy.
Butts and yeah, no, it's all very, very stupid.
Yes.
And you never change them back. And I appreciate that because it's dedication. And we're dedicated to our craft. And we must change it every time we touch your television. But that's open for public consumption. I'm not going into your phones.
Yeah, you're not reading emails and stuff.
No, but I do think it's funny that we do bring this up a lot that, like, I think 20-something years ago, Henry put in Holden McNeely as fuckface into his contacts. And even in professional emails, Holden is
Still fuckface.
And it's always, it's a little F.
Yep.
It gets you every time.
Yeah, it's too late to turn back now.
No, you could never turn it back. You can't rename something.
No. Even though he's a father now.
And technically, we are all professionals, like talking to people that we're sending emails to strangers and stuff.
Well, I
like,
mean,
you know,
Henry's LLC is poo-poo pickle.
yeah,
so-
you know, there's only so much you can pretend like you're not a fucking freak for a pay.
Freak on a leash.
Yeah, Henry ain't on a leash though. That's why I'm scared of him.
So they have their playful joke, and it's a great like little tidbit into their kind of like becoming almost, I don't want to say normal, but they have this stuff that's not just trauma and like fear and pain together. And
I guess that's nice.
so she sees that he has changed his name and, feels warm feelings about it. And her thoughts rest on a recent trip to the sunball field together, which kind of is giving us a glimpse into a sense of normalcy between them, that they're at least attempting to go on normal dates, you know?
Can you imagine how uncomfortable it would be to go on that first date? Like, I feel like it would be like going on an actual first date because they never really got to. So
No.
going on that and having that experience, I'm sure it was like, you imagine all the feelings before doing it. Like I know this person, but also like, I don't.
Every time somebody's jumped out of a helicopter and landed on top of me to save me, I've always friend zoned them because I just can't
I get
start
it.
over.
I get it. I get you, Queen. I understand. Yeah, you can't do that.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
So far, the moving into a simpler life seems to be working out to an extent. It's only been a few months at this point during the story after the city was destroyed. So we're still kind of freshly recovering.
Oh yeah, everybody's still healing. Like we're not even at a place where it's like, oh, I can't believe this happened here. It's like, no, everything is still kind of destroyed.
Yeah. The family moves on to another sculpture in the lobby that Bryce reads depicts the first wars. The screaming creatures in the tableau in the frieze, which is the molding that's sculpted. That's what that's called.
Oh.
It's spelled frieze. Sends a bit of PTSD through her body. She sees the depiction of this war and it takes her back to the day when the creatures came out of the portals, which, fair.
Obviously, and I know
Just happened.
that it's not like the murals in the Parks and Rec office, but it does kind of make me think of the murals at the Parks and Rec office in the show.
I'm sure it's exactly like that. The PTSD is coursing through her, looking at this image, and she wants to quickly move on. So she kind of thinks about how she's returned to ballet class as a method of keeping the thoughts at bay.
Good for you.
That's a hooray.
It is good. That is a good self-care that is working on you,
Mhm.
but also in a way to heal, in a way to grow. I'm proud of you.
It gives you endorphins,
Need it.
gives you distraction. You have to be very present when you're in class.
Need it. And also remember, she couldn't dance. Like in the last book, she couldn't. Her brain wouldn't let her even think about going back to dance. So this also shows
Growth.
how she is working on herself. And I'm proud of you, bitch.
Proud of you, Bryce. They come to another sculpture series that shows the 7 princes of hell. It's kind of a fun device in this first chapter to have us review all the plot points with like literal like images. Just be like, remember this plot? Remember this one?
But it's in a more fun way rather
I
than
agree. I
just,
think it's
like
great.
exposition dump. You know what I mean? And also, there's some time between the 2 books. I know we had the opportunity to go right from the first book immediately into the second book.
No, I think it's a great device that they're in a physical location where they can review the parts of the first book.
Yeah. They're like in a zoo.
Yeah, they kind of are. Bryce translates the description underneath the sculpture of the 7 princes of hell as it is written in an old Fey language her parents aren't fluent in. This one says, "Thus the 7 princes of hell looked in envy upon Midgard and unleashed their unholy hordes upon our united armies." Dramatic much? So Midgard, this is a review too for I think the readers, knows hell as a sinister force from
But
another.
again, different than our hell because it only has one L. Everyone remember that.
Very different. Also, they acknowledge it exists as like a physical place because creatures from it appear from time to time. And they know it's on a different plane. There's like a portal that they come through, and it is their belief is that the creatures of hell are trying to get into Midgard to steal it. The events of the past spring helped perpetuate the idea of that since all of those creatures came out and tried to kill everyone. But Bryce knows something her parents don't, and that's that Adis, the prince of the pit, which is not the lowest level of hell, but I think the 5th one or 4th one, I forget.
And he's cat daddy.
He's been visiting her since her oracle reading at age 13 and seems to want to help her in some ways, which is, counterintuitive to the idea that they're all just trying to like dominate
and take
Midgard
over.
and take
Yeah.
over. While Bryce doesn't have a read on hell that's much different than anybody else, Adis's behavior would at least suggest it's more complicated than hell collectively wanting Midgard domination. Not to mention the epilogue from House of Earth and Blood, where Jessica and Adis are meeting as apparent homies who have eyes on looking out for Bryce. We don't know for sure they're not bad, but
we don't know.
you kind of get the sense that they're not.
That they're gonna help her.
Yeah.
And I feel like usually SJM is pretty good at laying down when we don't trust. But she's also very good at keeping the world of the nebulous open.
Oh, yeah, very much so. You never know which way she's going to dart.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Through their conversations, we learn that Bryce has taken a new job at the Fey Archives, partly due to her work at the antiquities store, and she admits to herself she also got it because of her princess status. But like, whatever. There's so many worse things you could do with a princess status.
Yeah, she's so much more than just a princess and a savior of the world.
With the princess status, you could do lots of horrible things. If you can get a job with it that's like helping do something, then get the job, girl.
It's like being a Nepo baby. I feel like it's the same thing. It's like you have other privileges. Well, what are you going to do with those privileges?
exactly.
What are you going to do with it?
Do something productive.
Help people.
Yes, exactly. So Ember wishes she would have tried for a job. Her mom is kind of needling into her a little bit during the scene because they argue all the time as moms and daughters are wont to do.
Oh my God, just like a Lorelai and Rory. Okay.
Very fast talking.
I imagine Bryce and Ember speak so quickly to each other that Randall half the time isn't really following.
Oh, he's not listening.
Right? I feel like he's just like, I don't know, whatever they're going to say.
He steps in when he needs to, but like obviously Ember and Randall have a dynamic that they've worked out over the years, and he just lets her talk until he's like, oh, she's getting too worked up.
Oh my God, are you describing my marriage?
That is how happy marriages work.
Good. All right, good.
So Bryce is annoyed, of course, but her mom tells her she wishes that she would have tried for a job at Crescent City Ballet's art department, and Bryce starts to argue with her. Bryce wants Ember to be honest about the dislike of her new job because she's like acknowledging it, that she doesn't want her to be working in the sector of her sperm donor, which is fair. The Autumn King is dangerous.
Yep.
Bryce reiterates that the job doesn't interact with the Autumn King at all. But a flustered Bryce also tells her she needed a job, so she took it. Griffin's is gone now, we learn. It was not rebuilt after the after effects of that day because it took a lot of damage, and they didn't rebuild it. It seems like Jessica wanted to take it all and protect it in a different place because now they were on the radar.
I understand Jessica. I mean, Jessica is so mysterious. Like, whatever reasons you've got, okay. Okay, girl. Whatever you need.
So all the stuff, especially the most important stuff, are the books that we have learned. The basement holds the remainder of the Library of Parthos, which is the real history of humankind that the Asteri tried to erase. And she managed to, spell those books so they didn't get destroyed in the flood.
It's pretty cool.
But she needs to move them so that they don't catch on to what those books are.
She's pretty powerful.
She might be kind of a baddie. So that's all moved. There's no job there for Bryce anymore. And that has moved elsewhere that Bryce can't work. We learned that her
I just feel like if you save Midgard, she should have been given, like, I don't know, like a loan that doesn't have to be paid back right away. Like, I
think the prize is that they
didn't kill her.
Or they didn't, take Hunt away.
Yes,
forever.
or disappear them, that. And I understand that, but like a little bit.
Oh, I
like
agree.
Something.
I'd be like, I can't be in Asteri because I'd want people to be happy.
Yeah.
She thinks of the fateful day and glances down at her chest, at the mark that now lives there.
Look at it, Natalie. You did good. I meant to look at it, but then I realized it just looked like I was looking at your breasts, and I apologize because I did see them.
It is pointing at her breasts.
And I didn't want to victim blame you, but it is kind of your fault.
I put them out. And this
I
is
don't,
also
Natalie, I don't. I'm sorry. I looked at your breasts.
I am also wearing my Sophisticated Season 1 dress.
Yes, slay.
Bryce is in a gauzy pale blue dress with a plunging neckline, and this is perfect for her.
Yes, it is.
She thinks of how many times she's caught her mom looking at the scar with distrust and worry. Because,
of course.
It's an issue.
Yeah.
Ember shifts her nagging towards Hunt, suggesting that maybe her and Hunt could come to Nidaros and live with her and Randall.
Have a nice little life.
Yeah, but Bryce quickly dismisses that, and fair, because Hunt is still working for the 33rd, so how would that work? He'd have to do an insane commute every day, and also sometimes families work best when there's a little bit of distance.
A little bit of space.
It just makes it all much better. The time is precious when you're together.
Yeah, make the time precious. That's what the space is for. Make the time precious.
Yes. And speaking of her and Hunt.
Oh, God. Oh, what has Ember got to say?
She's got so much to say.
Oh, she's got so much to say.
She needles into Bryce, asking her why things are weird between Bryce, herself, and Hunt. And an exasperated Bryce asks for clarification on what her mom's talking about. Like, what do you mean weird?
Yeah, what do you mean? It's not like we both just underwent like huge traumatic experiences or something. And
also, none of your beeswax, Mama.
Mother.
So Ember's response allows us, the reader, to get an idea of how it's going down between them as Bryce kind of goes through her thoughts. And it seems as though they are in a situationship, and Ember is not happy about it.
I mean, what mother is? They never like a situationship.
Mm-mm.
They want more solidity than that.
They want clear definitions. Bryce tells her again she needs to mind her P's and Q's and starts to tap on her phone, picks it up, starts texting Hunt, trying to ignore her mom as her mom's meh, 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 meh. Ember tries to direct the conversation back to the room, but thankfully Randall steps in and convinces Ember to cool her jets. Bryce clearly does not want to talk about Hunt right now, and Ember she's pushing it.
Sometimes the mothers do. Oh, baby. But sometimes only the mother in your life is going to do something like that.
Sure.
Because no one else is hounding her for answers about what she's going through, because no one wants to force somebody to talk about their feelings, except
Mom.
A mother. Or a parent. Yes.
Or a parent. Bryce tells her to please just let things go right now. She's doing fine. They're all fine. And she thinks to herself she really isn't doing too bad, all things considered. And she hates to admit to herself, but she actually really enjoys her job at the Fae Archives. In her thoughts, she describes her days as quiet and peaceful as she collects, records, and packages up different pieces of rare antiques in the Fae's possession for different exhibits.
It does sound very peaceful.
It does. She doesn't have to seduce customers like she did at Griffin's or try to make sales. She doesn't have to really interact with people at all, except for when she has to walk through the main library to get to the archives every day because of the aforementioned gawking. So she
it's hard because she can't hide who she is.
Right.
And even like with a wig or something like that, because the star is always gonna shine through and give it away at some point.
Yeah, and it seems like she has unique looks even for this world, so she probably, people would know who she was.
You saying how hot and thick she is?
Yeah. I think she's tall also, I believe.
Mamma mia.
So,
good Lord, Bryce is hot.
Yeah. Ember concedes and she says, whatever. And Bryce notices the worry on her mother's face at that moment and feels guilty. She then thanks her mom for letting her know that her childhood home is open to her and Hunt if they need it. Just then, Hunt sends her a flirty text and she loses her concentration.
Uh-oh, did you just receive a flirty text?
No, I received my mind going, go to sleep. Seemingly ready to move on, Ember playfully points out a Pegasus statue that looks like Jelly Jubilee, which makes Bryce grin. She texts Hunt a picture of the Pegasus and tells him to hurry up and get there because she is getting grilled. Ember tells Bryce to get off her phone and stop reading flirty texts from Hunt. Though irritated, Bryce thinks to herself that at least if everything else has changed in her life in the last 6 months, at least her mom is exactly the same.
Oh, Ember. Oh, I just love her.
Yeah, we love an Ember. We cut to just a few minutes later as the Quinlans are getting into their fancy booth for viewing. I was just thinking about how I don't think I've ever sat in one of those before.
No.
You?
But I feel like, I'm surprised. I feel like you've been to so many like ballets and things like that.
For sure, but I've never sat in one of those fancy boxes on the
Whoa,
side.
well now you have to.
I think a lot of them I think a lot of theaters just have them decoratively now, but I know some theaters still use them.
I imagine because probably like being able to make sure that they're safe enough and like since they like go out over the audience at times.
Yeah, it might be a safety thing. It might have just gone out of fashion.
Style, yeah.
For a
You're right though.
while.
I've never sat what like boxes like the
boxes.
Yeah, I want to be up in one of them, but I also have never been in like a sports box either. So
Well, that's not surprising for either of us.
no, I'd only
but-
be there for the buffet.
Yeah.
But if there is a buffet, I'm there.
I don't think they have buffets in the theater ones, unfortunately.
Why? Why else would I be there? For the show?
To just look important. I think it'd be cool to just sit there with not being crammed into a row.
Yes, that also would be nice. And I feel like
Let me in your booth.
yeah,
If you're
get
out
me
there
up
with
in
the
there.
theater, can I get in your booth?
Come on, we can just ladder up there.
We can be your Statler and Waldorf.
Oh my God, yeah, we'll talk through the entire thing. And we'll
Super
annoy
disruptive.
everybody. God,
Yeah.
no, complete guys. If you could just give us tickets, it's gonna be fine. Like everybody's gonna love us.
Or we could be Pretty Woman. That's the other one I can think of.
Ooh, okay.
She's a
I'm the
hooker.
Richard Gere.
Oh, sure, that's fine.
But I mean, with this wig on, then they're gonna know where I'm putting those hamsters. Gerbils.
I think it was gerbils, right?
It was
Yeah.
gerbils. And you know what? I was gonna say, is there a difference? But I don't want to upset anybody.
That's the thing that will upset people.
Yep, I don't know. Maybe somebody's really like, how dare
Oh, sure.
you ever?
There's baseless rumors about him doing that. Don't choose the wrong animal to talk about that gossip.
I think it might be illegal though to bring up Richard Gere and not bring up the gerbil story.
Oh, of
like I
course.
think it actually I think I'm allergic to it.
You have to.
Yeah.
How are you not going to think about it?
How are we not gonna like it's like the game, you know, that you lose it when you think about it. And thinking about Richard Gere shoving gerbils up his ass is our generation's the game. Next to the game.
I don't
An addendum to the
fully
game.
know if I followed that sentence, but I'm sure people out there have.
I think they did. Do you not remember the game?
No.
Oh, wow. Everyone's always playing the game. Everyone just lost the game, and I'm sorry. You're always playing the game, and every time you think about the game, you've lost the game. That's what the game is. And I don't know why I feel like so many people were obsessed with it
What do you
and would
what-
get each other with it.
Is it just a game people played amongst themselves?
Yep. It is
Oh.
just like it is nebulously referred to as the game.
I've never heard of that.
Well, you've been playing it this whole time, and you just lost. And I'm sorry.
I just think of that as the Streisand effect.
Because her house went down into the ocean?
No, because it has something to do with a story that she was trying to get taken out
Because she reproduced the dogs?
of. No, it was, I forget what the story was, but she wanted people to not talk about it. And so because she wanted so badly to get it out of paper, she kept bringing it up. And then that means you just talk about it.
Yeah, and everybody talks about it. I feel like Katy Perry did that with the whole her trying to sue the nuns out of the convent so that she could buy the
seems to
convent.
make a lot of really poor decisions.
I feel like that's one of those ones where it's like, girl, if you just leave it alone, I feel like people would stop knowing you're trying to make a bunch of nuns homeless. But, you know, sometimes you want a convent because you want to turn it into something.
Technically killed one of them.
Oops. That's how it goes in Perry's world.
God. So they're in their viewing booth, and I want to. I'll be your pretty woman. Bryce is thrilled at seeing the drawn curtain before her, hardly containing her excitement for the ballet to begin. The downside is that most of the other boxes contain fey royalty because they're for fancy people.
Which is
fancy
cool.
pantses, which Ember, of course, is not happy about because they're all getting glares.
Even though everybody wishes I was there. Because if you're going to be talking about the fair royalty, you may as well be talking about me.
Oh, see, people who haven't read the book don't know what you're doing. Or who
They
that
don't
is.
know what I'm doing, but for the people that have read the book, they know what I'm doing.
That's
and
true.
I want to say I thank you for seeing me.
Yeah, you're right. The Fae are not happy to see humans in a box because that's for fancy people and rich people.
How dare you look down uponst Ember and Randall, you garbage people.
I agree. But Randall, always the more optimistic of the two, just remarks on how great the view is.
Love him.
Suddenly,
The air behind Bryce went electric, buzzing and alive. The hair on her arms prickled. A male voice sounded from the vestibule.
a benefit to having wings. No one wants to sit behind you.
Bryce had developed a keen awareness of Hunt's presence, like scenting lightning on the wind. He had only to enter a room, and she'd know if he was there by that surge of power in her body. Like her magic, her very blood, answered to his.
I'm sure somebody's written it, but it sounds like you would like to read some Cormac Hunt fanfic.
Oh, Natalie, you weren't looking at me, but I don't know if I've had light enter my eyes the way it just did. Ever. Not even on my wedding
Yeah,
day.
don't tell.
Yeah,
don't
don't
your
tell
husband.
Jeff. But, yeah, if somebody could get me some of that stat, that'd be great.
Maybe Clippy will get in there.
Ooh. Ooh. Oh. All right. Well, now my brain just went too many places, and I won't get into it.
Yeah, probably
I should
not.
write down the ideas.
Write him down. She turns to face Hunt and is struck dumb by the sight of him standing in the archway decked out in a tux.
Oh.
If she was a cartoon, her tongue would have rolled out like a red carpet. Hunt smirks at her poorly disguised lust, but just greets Randall. We learn that he has cut his hair shorter than it had been in House of Earth and Blood, but Bryce had stopped him from getting a full military-style coif. I know, Hunt, you're technically a cop, but please don't do your hair dirty like that. That
Yeah.
cop haircut is the worst.
Don't. And, this is the thing. I know that it means that we need to go out and get a different wig to be Hunt, but I don't want to.
You don't got to.
It's not even that I don't want to buy another wig. It's that in my head, he'll never have short hair.
Yeah, no, I agree. And and Bryce also didn't want him to have short hair. So she made him keep some of the locks, so like he can like do this. Like,
I don't know, girl. If you're looking for locks, I think somebody over here's got a couple for you. I
got
think I
some.
got some flippity locks over here.
Yeah, they're wide.
Is the wig getting worse
No.
as the episode goes
I think
on?
it's actually settling in.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not. It's not. People would beg for this lift. Like, this
I
is
would. I wish
such
that I
volume.
had. Like, my hair would never do that.
No, I mean, my hair, although I will say, did look like this as I was trying to grow it out, just dark brown. And I had a lot of this going on. And nobody wants this. Nobody.
It wasn't like that exactly.
Ooh, Natalie.
No, it was
Oh,
cute.
I don't know if you remember.
Of course I do.
In fact, a friend of ours who's growing out her hair was like, what did you do as your hair was growing out through all the... And I was like, I don't know what did I do? And I went back through my photos to the years ago, and I was like, oh, I was just hammered.
Yeah, I was
so
drunk.
I looked horrible. Like, I didn't give a shit that I looked horrible.
I was drunk for 4 years.
Exactly. I was drunk the entire time. Aha.
Got it.
So now I'm just forever scared of cutting my hair because I don't know if I can soberly go through the growing out process.
No, well, but now also you could afford probably a person who can cut your hair a
In
little bit
between.
better.
Yeah, and like give it a shape or something, as
Yeah,
opposed
shape
to
it
the $20 haircuts I used to get at this place called Maria's. That was just like a Polish woman that she didn't know what I was saying, but man, she did.
She would
Cut
use
my hair.
scissors. She would have scissors there.
$20? That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. So she returns after ogling him up and down. She returns her eye line to his and sees that he is also staring at her hungrily, and her heart thunders. All right, everyone settle down. We're at the
Okay.
ballet.
Okay, all right, okay.
Amber and Randall try to look busy as Bryce and Hunt exchange barely concealed flirtations.
Oh my God, that just makes me think of, did you get to the part in Love on the Spectrum when the couple that had just met and they're just making out with each other
No, I
in
don't think
front
so.
of the parents but she's fully,
Oh,
fully
yes,
grown.
yes, I
and
know
the
what you're
dad
talking
just
about,
kept being
yes.
like, all right, well, okay, well,
Yes, I
they do. They do like each other, and I support it. It's just watching the parents just try to support it and just stand in the kitchen
Just
with
look-
them and try to
just kind of
give
like
them some
look off to the
space.
distance a
Exactly,
little
just
bit.
looking anywhere, like, oh wow, a kitchen towel. Did you see?
How do you think they make these?
Yeah, like us talking about the wigs up top.
Moments later, after they sort of have their greetings, a server appears with a bottle of champagne, stating that it is a gift from Juniper.
Class, okay, class
Classy.
act.
Bryce is delighted and thinks about how she is now, she's gone back to drinking, but much more sanely. She's not going back to partying, but she kind of like stopped her no drinking rule that was self-imposed.
Understandable, as long as you're checking in. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, if you are able to do moderate drinking, you can do like a little chompies.
Oh yeah.
Come on now.
I mean, if you're in a box at the ballet,
If you're in a ballet box,
have a champers.
Have a champ. So before she can take the champagne flute being offered to her, Hunt stops her hand and politely takes the glass away. She barks in protest as he pulls out a pill and plops it into the glass and watches it dissolve. He informs her it's testing for poison in the champagne, and Ember expresses her approval.
I know I refer to smeeing people a lot because I do like the idea of having to always try something before someone else. And I'm specifically thinking of Bob
smee.
Hoskins in Hook, where he's trying all, and the don't try to stop me, Smee, try to stop me, Smee. That whole section, I really thought that was a real job.
I thought it was in
And
real
I
time.
think back then,
Yeah.
but I'm saying now, and
Oh.
I'd like that job again.
You want to taste for poison?
I think I'd be really good at it.
But what if it's not even something that'll kill you, that'll just like rip your insides apart?
Natalie, I don't know if you heard this classic song, What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger. And I think that's only going to help me grow
Okay.
and learn what's bad to put in your body.
Well, if any of you out there are constantly getting threats of being
Attacked
poisoned,
of poison only, because I'm not going to save you from anything
You're
else.
not gonna bodyguard them.
But I will taste every turkey leg you're about to put into your mouth. But also, Hunt doing this to her, I feel like would annoy me in real life, but also make me slip into next
yeah,
week.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. He hands it back to her and cheers with his own glass of champagne. Brunt,
it's such
couple
a
named
stupid
Brunt.
couple name.
takes their seat behind Bryce's parents as the warning lights flash in the theater, because usually right before the show starts, they go like dim, up,
And say, get your ass in the
you better
seats.
sit. The four of them.
then the ballet screaming begins. Yeah. Sit down. Everyone's going, ah!
And then they all just calmly sit.
But you have to get through the screaming.
You have to get through the screaming. The four of them sit there and make idle chatter as they await the start of the ballet. Ember asks about Fury and Juniper, and Bryce informs them and us, the readers, that the two of them have moved in together.
Good for them.
Ember questions her further, and we learn that Bryce and Fury had mostly talked out their problems from, when they were in the first book. Fury was being really evasive and not really talking with Bryce, and they've kind of worked through those problems, which was described a little bit at the end of the book, that Fury had a hard time because of how much she cared about them, because she's an ancient being, and she's like, I wasn't expecting to, she calls them, I think, puppies, like to like fall in love with these friends, and that it really,
because they're just blips in her life.
And she didn't know what to do with that. But now they've sort of worked through that and gotten past it. And their friendship is in a much better place. Though she is still doing her mercenary job that none of them really want to know anything about because it sounds scary.
How does Juniper do it? How can you do that? How can you be with someone that has to live a life of covertness?
Well, because I imagine Fury's...
really good in this act.
Yeah, I think she's probably a little minx.
Oh, there's, after all those centuries?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's good, though, that Bryce and Fury have worked some of that out. And Bryce mentions that Fury is in the front row on the first floor to be very close to Juniper. Ember, as an ally queen, thinks it's great they're together and calls them a beautiful couple. Happy Pride Month, everybody.
Yes.
Which then leads her to needling back into Bryce.
Of course. Ember sized up Bryce and Hunt and said with no shame whatsoever,
You two would as well if you got your shit together.
Bryce slouched down in her seat, lifting her playbill to block her red-hot face. Why weren't the lights dimming yet? But Hunt took it in stride and said,
All good things come to those who wait, Ember.
Ugh. Can you imagine how Ember melts for Hunt? You know it.
Oh, she loves him.
You know she loves him.
Well, it's especially because he is overprotective of Bryce to a point that makes Bryce crazy. But to the mother, she's like, yes, be hawkish over her.
Yeah.
And Bryce is like, I don't need him to. And
also,
like,
it's like kind of nice though, but also it's like, I know I can take care of myself, but like, what if you did it?
Well, I think that's sort of the benefit of having a mom like that, where Bryce can assert her independence, but knows that there's this other character in her life who will also continue to like, what's it called? The word
lift her,
continue to advocate for Hunt to be there to protect her, so she doesn't have to be like, save me, but like somebody is making, and she's like, I guess I have to because he's my mom.
I mean, it is also the beauty of having a parent sometimes that can get something of like a, you're trying to get them, I feel like, to propose or something like that, when you have a good relationship with the parent and you're like, can you like do something about that? And then that's what a parent is for, to just drop little needling, annoying things.
We love you, parents.
I mean, I do. I somebody's got to.
Hunt is amused by Ember's words, but Bryce is still mortified. She distracts herself from the embarrassment and also stops herself from the thirsty looks she's unable to stop giving Hunt by looking out over the audience, trying to spot familiar faces. She doesn't see Rune or Bad Daddy, but she spots Tristan Flynn's family minus Tristan, and we are introduced here to Flynn's sister, Sathia, whom Bryce doesn't seem to think favorably of, nor his parents. We've learned just the smallest amount about Flynn's family, but it seems to be they are important and snooty.
Mm-hmm.
Hunt leans in and whispers in Bryce's ear not to do something to piss them off since it's June's big night, but he's being flirtatious. He's like, don't do anything. You're going to cause a scene in here. And she's like, what are you talking about doing anything?
You better stop or I'm going to suck your dick.
Is that the threat you just made?
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
I would have literally ripped his pants off and been like flew them away.
I'm sorry. As you're just like apologizing because you're in front of your parents. You're like, why am I doing that?
Man, he's horned up.
Yeah.
She pulls back as he's whispering to her to look at him, and the two of them gaze at each other.
Stop.
In a way, you know what I'm talking about. They're looking at each other in a way. Is that you flirting?
Yeah. I think that a good grip of the face really helps the knees part.
You mean gripping your own face?
Gripping your face.
Yeah.
Make your face tight.
Tight.
Because everyone's looking for tight. Sure, make it tight.
Tight face opens the legs.
Opens the legs. See?
Okay. Just checking. So they gaze at each other and seem unable to look away.
3 fucking months of this torture. Stupid agreement. Friends, but more. More, but without any of the physical benefits. So what's the point? I know everybody loves the looly-dooly, like goggy, staring in each other's eyes from, everyone loves it.
Never heard those words before.
Like everybody knows
Huey,
them.
Dewey, and Louie.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to sleep with them either.
Good.
Which is good. Even though at this point, I feel like they're probably so old that they're
as
dead.
hell.
They're
Yeah.
dead ducks. But why make life harder?
Well, okay. So let's get into why Bryce is
I
saying
know.
she's doing this.
I know.
But before that, the lights dim, and Hunt whispers to Bryce in that last moment that she looks beautiful. She's flippant, but feels a certain type of way about it.
Yeah, I
secretly.
bet.
She makes a flirty comment back, and Hunt has to adjust his pants. Oh my God. Because of his erection.
Oh
If that
my
wasn't
God.
clear. Yeah.
Natalie.
Yeah. Just in case you couldn't tell.
I thought it's because he had his zip-off shorts on
He
underneath.
had his gerbil inserted.
Yeah, and he has to make sure, and Clippy's in there. It's just a whole, honestly, it's busy in the box.
Wow. It's here where Bryce lays out the deal that she struck with him in her thoughts. They're waiting 4 more months.
Oh, good.
Ember asks what they're talking about behind them as they're whispering, and Bryce says nothing.
But it wasn't nothing. It was a stupid bargain she'd made with Hunt. That rather than diving right into bed, they'd wait until winter solstice to act on their desires. Spend the summer and autumn getting to know each other without the burdens of a psychotic archangel and demons on the prowl. So they had. Torturing each other with flirting was allowed, but sometimes, tonight especially, she really wished she'd never suggested it. Wished she could just drag him into the coat closet of the vestibule behind them and show him precisely how much she liked that suit.
I mean, Bryce, you can. It's in self-imposed. You don't have to not.
But
do
if
it.
you think about it, think about these hard, fast rules that we all make for ourselves, and some are better at sticking to them than others. But like, for instance, we have a full career that we've forged out of stone that you kind of have to always be doing and going and working in the same way she's got to be. You know what I mean? I get it. I get wanting the space.
Sure. I mean, for sure. And
I have to say it over and over again. I get it. Because part of me really throughout this, I'm like, you can just throw it in the trash. But sometimes the rules we create for ourselves are the hardest ones to throw in the trash.
well, yeah, and there's always a fine line because you can become overly addicted to those rules and that can become unhealthy. But I can see how this might be something she would want to have for herself. And Bryce is happy in this moment as much as she's feeling tortured because, he does things like he puts his arm around the back of her chair and puts his fingers in the back and through her hair. And there's an intimacy in that's really different, a different kind of intimacy, especially when you and this person you're sort of with kind of claim each other publicly. It's like these subtle things. I guess that's the romantic part of it, is that it is an intimacy that's different than just like getting it on.
Right.
Bryce agrees.
Like Natalie and I butterfly kiss all the time, and I feel like there's no one else I'd like to butterfly kiss with.
Oh my God.
Natalie, come on. Natalie.
Oh, no.
Come on. Natalie.
I think Henry would drive off of a cliff if that happened.
I think it would be difficult because he wouldn't leave you, but he would never speak to me ever again, and that would make this job
would be
difficult.
So she kind of feels this idea of this like intimacy and this romance, and notes that her mom and Randall are also seated similarly. And she remembers that kind of why maybe one of the reasons she's doing this is that her mom and Randall also waited to act on their feelings. And she's thinking, well, they turned out well, so maybe she's going to try a different tactic than she has with guys in the past, which is not to say she's shaming sexual behavior, but she's like, maybe I should try this other way since I'm all in I'm all over the place. We just went through all this horrible stuff and I feel these feelings for him and I want to know him better.
Because that's the thing, and I do get that. I do understand. I know I've talked about this.
In theory, wish I could relate in real life, never happened. But
and mine only happened the once, and it happens to be with the person I'm married to. So I feel like for me, 100% of the time, it worked.
That waiting?
Yeah. And I mean, not for marriage, because
I mean, let's get fucking real here.
I don't think so.
If you're not trying it out beforehand, when you get married and you're like, oh, we don't work. This doesn't work.
I got to take it for a spin.
Yeah, exactly. Round the block.
Yeah.
Which is very awkward.
Yeah.
So she reflects on how she has really actually enjoyed these months of simply getting to know one another and do boring but amazing activities like spending the evening binging shows or sitting on the roof together just talking. Although almost as though she's preparing for some sort of long game or something.
Whoa.
Like, interesting. But the lack of physical contact is also driving them both crazy.
Which is also a fun game. I will throw it out there too. The edging is fun.
Oh, sure.
I mean,
to an extent.
To an extent, but it is fun.
Sure. And I think that's like one of the big differences. Sorry to just cut that off. So I think it's one of the big differences between like porn and erotica. As erotica has more of a winding story to the sex, whereas porn's just like that's slapping. That's
right.
The ball slapping.
Ball slapping. Oh yeah, no, it's more, more layers, more complexities, and I prefer it.
Me too. So she's thinking about having these like amazing moments with Hunt that aren't necessarily sexual, but just like really tender and like intimate. And suddenly her scar lights up. Gasping with embarrassment, she slaps her hand over it and grumbles about not being able to really control when it happens, or at least hasn't figured it out yet. Everyone immediately obviously notices because it's like a big spotlight being shot out of the audience. She frantically tries to make her hand cover it, but to no avail. The mean fae across the way are sneering at her since the lights had all just gone down.
Oh
so
my
she's
God.
making a scene.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so special. I have a light beam of power coming from my body, and she's embarrassed.
Oh, she begins to get up to leave the box.
But Hunt slid a warm, dry hand over her scar, fingers grazing her breasts. His palm was broad enough that it covered the mark, capturing the light within. It glowed through his fingers, casting his light brown skin into rosy gold, but he managed to contain the light.
Admit it, you just wanted me to fill you up,
Hunt whispered, and Bryce couldn't help her stupid, giddy laugh. Oh, God. Oh, no. Never mind. He just pulls the hand back. He's like, you know what? This whole thing, I'm going to call the whole thing off. And it just ends it there. Book is over. Wow. It's just, I don't know what.
That's me being adorable.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I laughed at. I meant to go. Aw. Oh, wow. A beauty in her own right.
Yep. Ember and Randall look concerned.
They would if their daughters started laughing like that.
And ask if they should
Go to a doctor.
get up and leave. They can hear the Fey Royals around them snipping, their irritation and disgust palpable. But both Bryce and Hunt say they're all good, and Hunt flashes an Umbra Mortis's grin at the snobs around them, imploring them to try something. Give me a fucking reason.
Yeah, I bet.
The conductor appears before the orchestra, drawing attention back away from them finally. Bryce tries to manage her breathing, hoping it will somehow calm the light down. Hunt makes her laugh by suggesting his hand over her chest, and the inevitable tabloid articles about the Umbra Mortis hooking up with a princess at the ballet
In front of her parents.
will give him street cred at the Ox. And the light, as she laughs, begins to recede. Seems like maybe heightened feelings might bring the light out.
Okay.
Hunt becomes unreadable as he slowly removes his hand from her now dark chest, and she wonders what it means.
But the orchestra began its lilting opening, and the curtain drew back, and Bryce leaned forward breathlessly to await her friend's grand entrance.
And we're going to stop there because we were needed to pick back up all
Are
of
you
the...
scared of my entrance? Are you scared of me, Natalie? Don't be scared. There's someone coming around the bend, and I think you might be juicy for him.
I've never placed him with a pirate sound voice before, but I guess that works. I mean, he lives on an island.
Free your mind and your ass will follow.
So can you wait to learn about what this character is? It's not a boy who wins a chocolate factory.
Nope. No.
Or is it? Maybe
No,
there's one
no.
in this world.
I don't know. Are we going to get chopped up by the fans? Uh-oh. No, we won't.
I want to get sucked up through a tube.